Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Boxing Along the Beltway. Our news and notes for this week, and the bulk of our news and notes this week, we're going to talk about and preview the Friday, April 14th card at the MGM National Harbor Casino. That's the Showbox New Generation card by Banner Promotions and Greg Cohen Promotions, and it's taking a little time for this card to get put together. In fact, there's still one bout outstanding that they're trying to make for this card, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But the bulk of the card finally came together earlier this week, so we're able to bring you the whole card, including the television bouts that will take place there. We're brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief, from boxers to ballerinas, from shoulder pain to muscle strain, and everything in between. Boxing Along the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the fast, safe, plant-based ointment. Don't forget to go to www.freepainoffer.com. You buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. So we're going to preview the entire card. Number of Beltway boxes on the card. We'll also talk about the importance of this card in comparison to what we had last Saturday at the MGM National Harbor. And I've got a special message for a Beltway boxer here in the area. So that's our News and Notes podcast schedule. So first of all, of course, the card at the MGM National Harbor on Friday, April 14th. The card, I believe, is scheduled to get underway around the same time as the one last Saturday, 7 o'clock. Eastern Time, doors opening at 6:30, and the first bout on the telecast will be on at 10 o'clock Eastern Time on Showtime. Okay, the main event of the card is a matchup for the interim WBA light heavyweight championship. The champion is Dmitry Bivol. He's out of Russia, Slovak Russia, by way of Kyrgyzstan, and he is 9-0, 7 KOs. He'll take on Samuel Clarkson out of Cedar Hill, Texas. That's a name we know very well in this area. And he'll take on Dmitry Bivol. I believe Clarkson's first chance at the World Championship. Bivol actually will make it the second defense of his interim WBA light heavyweight championship that he won back in May of 2016, 12-round unanimous decision over Felix Valera in Moscow. And he recently defended that title back on February 23rd in Nizhny Tagil, Russia, won a 4-round TKO over Robert Barrage. Bivol is 9-0 with 7 KOs. Most of his bouts have been in Russia. He has fought twice at the hangar in Costa Mesa, California. And solid performer. He also has won the WBC USNBC light heavyweight silver light heavyweight championship, as well as the WBA Intercontinental light heavyweight championship. So he's a pretty established guy for someone who is going into his 10th pro bout. And he'll face a veteran in Samuel Clarkson, who comes in with a record of 19-3 with 12 KOs. And some of those KOs have been pretty good. And he is riding right now a 9-bout winning streak. He has not lost since back in April of 2014, when he lost an 8-round unanimous decision to Jesse Hart. Remember, we had Jesse Hart here in town last Saturday on the Lomachenko social card. And he's faced some good people. He won a split decision over Cedric Agnew, who was 27-1. He beat LeVarn Harvell in the second round TKO in October of 2015. But his biggest win, I think, to date was against Jerry Odom on national television, on Showtime, as a matter of fact, on Showbox. And he scored a third-round TKO over Jerry Odom. Odom was not ready for that bout. He was not in the best shape at all. And it was the first time Odom had lost. And he got knocked down a few times in that bout and tried to get up real quickly. He just wasn't prepared for it because Odom had been knocking out folks in the first round prior to that. So Clarkson fight really kind of upset the apple cart for Jerry Odom. And so he lost that back in July of 2015 in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Clarkson's last win was against a Beltway boxer as well. He knocked out Larry Pryor in the first round on December 9th in Dallas, Texas. So this could be an interesting bout. I think that's going to be a good bout. We'll see how good Bivol is. It's kind of a step up record-wise going up against Clarkson. But Clarkson is tough. If he comes in good shape, it could be a very good battle. It's a 12-round bout for the interim WBA light heavyweight championship, Dimitri Bivol against Samuel Clarkson. Now, the rest of the card will feature a number of Beltway boxers on the card, and 2 of them will be on the ShowBox telecast. The co-feature will have Malik Iceman Hawkins out of Baltimore. He is 10-0, 7 KOs. He'll go on to his first major bout on television. He's been on television before. He's been on Fox Sports 1 a couple of times, but this is a big one for him when he takes on fellow undefeated boxer Carlos Soto out of Torreon, Coahuila de Zaragoza, Mexico. He is 13-0 with 7 KOs. Malik Hawkins coming off a 6-round unanimous decision over Antonio Chavez Fernandez. That was on November 11th at the Winnevegas Casino Resort in Sloan, Iowa. Now, other than his win over Errol Sidney back in April of 2016, Hawkins has not fought anybody near the caliber of Carlos Soto. And that could be an interesting situation with him. He's fought tough guys like Richard Hall, Tiger Lee Hall. He's fought Jose Valderrama in 4 rounds with him back in December 2015. Fought Richard Hall in May of 2016 in Niagara Falls. But Carlos Soto is a Mexican who hasn't fought a lot of great competition either. That's the weird thing. His biggest win for Soto was back in May of 2014 when he won a 10-round unanimous decision over Alejandro Quintero, and that was in Cuauhtemoc, Mexico. And then he took almost 3 years off before he fought recently, February 3rd, and scored a 3rd-round TKO over Alonzo Martinez. This is also Soto's first trip to the United States as a boxer. So we don't know how good Soto is because, quite frankly, we haven't seen him. And sometimes 10-0, 13-0 with 2 draws for Soto could mean that the competition is just tough, or it just could mean that Hawkins may be able to face him and take his game to another level. So that's an 8-round bout. Malik Hawkins taking on Carlos Soto for the co-feature on the ShowBox card. Also on the ShowBox card, he'll be the first bout in the ring on Friday night, and that'll be Glenn DeZern in his first nationally televised bout. He'll take on former 2-time amateur champion, U.S. amateur champion, Leroy Davila out of New Brunswick, New Jersey. Glenn DeZern out of Baltimore. DeZern is 8-0, 6 KOs, coming off a 2nd-round TKO over Devon Jones. That was on December 15th in Charenton, Louisiana. And DeZern took some time off between 2014 and 2016. Had just take some time off. He got married during that time period to Franchon Cruz DeZern, and then he focused on focused on being married for a little bit, and then got back in the ring back in August of 2016. Won a 3rd-round TKO over Aaron Hollis in Rochester, New York, and then the win over Devon Jones. So Glenn DeZern looks like he's focused, and he is ready to give his career a real good try. Coming up, and that'll be the first bout on the card, taking on Leroy Davila, as you said, 2-time national amateur champion, coming off a 3rd-round TKO over Anthony Taylor on January 20th at Atlantic City, New Jersey, at the Bally's Event Center. Taylor, that was a good win for him because Taylor was 4-0 going into that bout. So that's a good win for Davila. So both these guys have good amateur pedigrees. Both these guys seem to be fundamentally sound, and that should make that bout interesting indeed for that card. That's an 8-round bout. Glenn DeZern taking on Leroy Davila, and that's the bout that will open the ShowBox telecast Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, there is one bout on the undercard that I think if the opponent, quote unquote, was not a 500 boxer, this bout would be on television because it has a good TV feel to it. It's a very interesting bout for a lot of reasons, and we'll go over those in just a second. But it should be an interesting bout going in. That's about between Travis Reeves, Severe Reeves, out of Baltimore. He's 13-2, 7 KOs, taking on Tennille Spider Goico of Philadelphia, who is 9-1 with 4 KOs. Now, number of reasons why this is an interesting bout. Number one, Travis Reeves, when he first started his career, he had a tough time with awkward boxers. He fought Lamont Capers a couple of times. The first bout against Capers, he looked terrible, even though he won a unanimous decision. Reeves did not look his best. He got better against Capers the second time around when he fought him in March of 2015. But when he fought him in June of 2014, it was just an ugly bout from start to finish. He's done better against awkward guys. Lamont Capers is awkward. Dan Biddle is a little awkward. He won a 6-round unanimous decision over him. Even the bout against Larry Pryor, where he won the Maryland State Cruiserweight title, Pryor is not a real conventional boxer as such. So for him to stop Pryor in the 8th round back in May of 2016, good win for him. And of course, the big win that he has on his record, Reeves has on his record, was the second round TKO in his second round knockout in his last bout against Aaron Kotracki for the USBO Light Heavyweight Championship on November the 12th. However, he'll be facing a guy in Tennille Goico, folks, who just makes things very difficult for boxers in the ring. And he's done a number of times to Beltway boxers. We've talked about this over the last few months. Back in April of 2014, it'll almost be 3 years to the day. Actually, today, as we record this, it's 3 years to the day, actually. He knocked out Jeremy Trussell in the 6th round at the Patapsco Arena in Baltimore, Maryland. Same location in August of 2014. He gave Damon Nicholson fits. And some people still believe that Goico actually won that bout. But Nicholson was able to get a stoppage over Goico back on August of 2014. But many people thought that Goico was on his way to win that bout. Then on May of 2016, May 14th, Goico won a split decision over Devin Butcher at the Maryland State Fairgrounds in Timonium, Maryland. 6-round split decision there. And then probably his biggest win of his career thus far was against Jerry Oldham again. And I remember when Oldham took this bout against Goico, I questioned it then, much like I questioned Butcher's camp taking the bout against Goico. Oldham was stopped in the 5th round by Goico at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia on November 11th. I'm not questioning the bout as much for Reeves against Goico, except for he's facing a guy that on paper does not have the best record. It's a no real win situation for Reeves, because if Reeves beats him, well, he's supposed to beat him. He's 13-2. And right now he is riding a 10-bout winning streak. Okay? So he's supposed to beat Tennille Goico. If Goico beats him, which is possible, given the style that he has, it sets Reeves back a little bit. And Reeves had some big things on the horizon, including, of course, the opportunity to go to Australia that didn't come through because his opponent got hurt. If he loses against Goico, that opportunity may fall by the wayside. So it's not the easiest bout at this point in Reeves' career for him to take. But I think if anybody can do well against Goico, it may be Reeves. Because Reeves has shown a lot more confidence in his last 2 bouts. Not that Nicholson wasn't confident, but I don't know if Nicholson took him lightly and then didn't got the win. I tend to think Oldham might have taken Goico only because Oldham had just come off a big win over one of Julian Jackson's sons, and it looked like Oldham had gotten his career back on track, and then the loss to Goico came. So he may have taken Goyko a little lightly. I don't think Travis Reeves will take Goyko lightly in this situation. So I expect a good performance from Travis Reeves. That bout scheduled for 8 rounds. It's Travis Severe Reeves taking on Tennille Spider Goyko. Also in the card, an 8-round bout, Joey DeVecco. He is out of Philadelphia, heavyweight. His record 17-4-3, 10 KOs. He'll be matched up against Rodney Hernandez of Modesto, California. He's 10-5-1 with 2 KOs. DeVecco is someone that has kind of been up and down in his career. He has his big losses have been the guys who have come very close, for the most part, to title situations. One was to Charles Martin, who ended up winning a regional title. He lost him in the 4th round back in November 2013. He lost to Dorset Barnwell when Barnwell was undefeated 6-0. Lost split decision to him. He has fought a Beltway boxer. He fought Juan Carlos Robles back in February 2012 and actually fought him to a 6-round draw in that situation. A guy that fought here back in 2013 out of California, Natu Vicinia, DeVecco knocked him out in the 1st round. Another guy who fought in the area, Taylor Pereira, he won. He went to an 8-round draw with him, and his last bout back in December 3rd, he knocked out Willie Kyles in the 1st round in Johnson City, Tennessee, back on December 3rd of last year. So he's fought some decent people. Jarrell Miller, Big Baby Miller, he's fought him. Derek Rossi, he won a split decision over him, 8 rounds. He beat previously undefeated Mark Rideout. So he's not there yet, of course, but he's only 26 years old. He seemed to be on the move a little bit, and this would be a good opportunity for him to really do something against Rodney Hernandez. As you said, 10-5-1, 2 KOs. He's lost 2 of his last 3. One of the people that's on the card also beat him. That's Sergey Kuzmin. We'll talk about him in a second. But he also lost his last bout back in July of 2016, July 22nd, against Z Zhang out of in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Lost a 6-round unanimous decision there. So Hernandez also lost to Michael Hunter, who just fought on the Sosa card, the Coach and Lomachenko card. So he fought some good people. So we'll see how far he goes in that situation. Okay. Speaking of Sergey, that bout is also scheduled for 8 rounds. Speaking of Sergey Kuzmin, he's on this card, and he will fight out of St. Petersburg, Russia. He's undefeated, 9-0, 6 KOs. The current WBC Eurasia Pacific Boxing Council heavyweight champion, and he will battle on the card Carlos Cotto, El Chicano, from Caguas, Puerto Rico. He is 8-1-1 with 5 KOs. Kuzmin has fought the majority of his career in Russia. His only 2 bouts in this country was the one we mentioned earlier about against Rodney Hernandez back on February 18th. And he won a 10-round unanimous decision over Hernandez. And he beat one of our Beltway boxers, Darnell the Dingling Man Wilson, back in August of 2015. Same place, Hangar, Costa Mesa, California. He stopped Wilson in the 4th round. His last 3 bouts have all been in Russia. His last 3 bouts have all ended by TKO, 2 in the 2nd round, 1 in the 1st round. So that's Sergey Kuzmin, and could be Kuzmin, actually. Sergey Kuzmin, 9-0, 6 KOs. He'll face Carlos Cotto out of Puerto Rico. He's coming off a 6-round split decision win over Jimmy Suarez in a rematch. Suarez had knocked him out in the first bout, in the 1st round, but Cotto came back, won a 6-round split decision in the rematch back in April of 2015. That's the last time Cotto has fought. Most of his bouts have been in Puerto Rico. A couple of his bouts have been in the Dominican Republic, but he comes to the U.S. mainland for the first time in this bout. I believe that's an 8-rounder as well. Now, coming up on the 6-rounders, Ruben Villa from Salinas, California. He's 4-0, 2 KOs, just 19 years old. He'll take on Luis Diaz-Torres, Enrique Diaz-Torres out of Puerto Rico. He's 2-0, 1 KO. Torres coming off a 4th round unanimous decision win over Garibaldi Gomez on March 4th in Gurabo, Puerto Rico. As I said, 2-0, 1 KO. Villa, 4-0, 2 KOs, His last two bouts have been wins by unanimous decision. Last one against Francisco Camacho back on February the 10th in Ontario, California. So that's a 6-round bout. Ruben Villa taking on Luis Diaz-Torres. Another 6-round bout, another 19-year-old. We have Michael Ditchover. He is out of Santa Fe Springs, California, 3-0, all 3 wins by KO. And he will take on Eder Amado Fajardo. He's out of Mexico. He's called Coriano. He's 2-2 with 1 KO. Coming off a 6-round loss to Francisco Ochoa back on January 21st in Montebello, California. Michael Ditchover fights for the first time outside not only Ontario, California, but outside the Doubletree Hotel. All 3 of his bouts, all 3 of his stoppages have come in the Doubletree Hotel. His last bout was on February the 10th. Scored a first-round knockout over Jose Mora. And, of course, this card is the debuting card bout for Hasim Gold-Blooded Rahman Jr. Out of Baltimore, Maryland, lives in Las Vegas, but he considers himself a Beltway boxer, a boxer from Baltimore. He'll make his pro debut. Hope you had a chance to hear his interview we did with him earlier in the month over at the ABC Sports Complex. We did an interview with him as he gets ready for his pro debut. His pro debut will come up against Ralph Alexander. He's out of Lanham, Maryland, and he fought at the Sugar Ray Leonard Gym. Fought a little bit of time at Keystone, but mostly at the Sugar Ray Leonard Boxing Center. Fought as an amateur in the novice and in the Golden Gloves. He fought earlier this year in the Golden Gloves. Did not make it to the finals, obviously, so he went ahead and turned pro. Got an opportunity to turn pro in this bout, this card coming up. Fought primarily in the 201 plus division, both as a novice and as an open fighter. And now he makes his pro debut against Hasim Rahman Jr. And so that's the card. The other bout they're trying to make for this card features Slick Justin Hurd, and no word yet officially on who his opponent is going to be for the card. So that is the card at the MGM National Harbor Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland, and should be interesting to see what happens. Once again, the doors open at 6:30. First bout's at 7 p.m. and the telecast begins at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Showtime. So that's the card. Hope to see you there. Hope to do some podcasting. Hope to do a little bit more interviews. It was a little tough to get interviews with the situation we were in, but it was a fantastic location. And I said this card is more important in many ways than last Saturday's card. Here's why. The Lomachenko-Sosa card really introduced the MGM National Harbor not only to boxing fans in the Beltway, but also boxing fans around the country and maybe around the world as well. It introduced itself as a marquee facility. No question about that. Marquee facility. This card on Friday, on April 14th, is for us. It's for the Beltway. Even though the main event is a non-Beltway boxing bout, everything else primarily is boxing in the Beltway, especially in Baltimore in particular. We need to show up as fans for this one. This will help cement us as a go-to place, not only in this area, but for boxers outside the area as well. That's how important, for promoters should say, outside the area. That's what makes this card so important. This card, as well as May 20th, when Gary Russell Jr. defends his title against Samuel Clarkson at the MGM National Harbor. So come on out. Please pack this place. This is a big one for us. Okay? And it will put us at another level where we will understand, especially in the Baltimore area in particular, how big boxing is in the area. Now, let's talk about May 20th for a second. And we have things going on, between then. Matter of fact, don't forget, 1 week from Saturday, we'll be live from the Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland for the Regional Golden Gloves. We have live coverage of that. We will preview that card in our next podcast next week. So that'll be our main focus of our next podcast. But May 20th is going to be a huge day. Okay, May 20th is going to be a huge day. Not only do we have Gary Russell Jr. defending his title against Oscar Escandón at the MGM National Harbor, we also have Gervonta Davis defending his title in London against Liam Walsh. I'm coming back to that one in a second. But also, Terrence Crawford fights Felix Diaz. Remember Felix Diaz, who lost to Lamont Peterson at the Eagle Bank Arena about a year and a half ago. They fight each other in Madison Square Garden. That bout's going to be on HBO. Now, there is talk that the Showtime day will feature Gervonta Davis in the afternoon, Gary Russell Jr. at night. And both bouts will be televised by Showtime. That's what I've heard. Now, that's what they've been talking about because they weren't sure when they were going to move. Because the original date, well, I should say the original rescheduled date was May 27th. And it was thought they were going to move it up a week so they can bind Gervonta Davis and Gary Russell Jr. So I hope they can do that. So that card is huge for us because we need to come out and support Gary Russell Jr. as Beltway boxing fans to the hilt. Make that a very, very home field advantage and make the Escandón camp feel that home ring advantage. Okay, that needs to happen that night. Okay. Another thing needs to happen between now and May 20th. And this is my message to the Beltway boxers. This is my message to Gervonta Davis. Be quiet. Now, for those who don't know what I mean by that, there have been video floating around social media. 2 videos, actually. One features a verbal confrontation that took place at the MGM National Harbor last Saturday between Gervonta Davis, the IBF super featherweight champion, and contender Tevin Farmer out of Philadelphia. They got into a verbal thing. Now, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. You know, wouldn't have really fazed me so much. Although I probably would have been trying to be one of the people that would pull Gervonta Davis away. And then to add to that, Adrian Broner has been talking trash about Gervonta Davis. Now, the only reason why I bring this up at all, because personally, I really, I think it's stupid all the way around. And this is probably why I bring it up, because I think it is stupid. And Gervonta Davis needs to be above the fray here. He's got a guy in England he's got to focus on. And he's traveling to England to face him. Not like Liam Walsh is coming here to Baltimore or coming here to D.C. or coming into MGM National Harbor, wherever. He's going to his place with his fans there. And we know how passionate the British fans are. All this stuff about Tevin Farmer will mean nothing. All this stuff with Adrian Broner will mean nothing if Gervonta Davis does not beat Liam Walsh on May 20th. And he needs to focus on Liam Walsh leading up to May 20th. He needs to shut up about talking about him. Don't even worry about him because Tevin Farmer is where Gervonta Davis wants to be right now. And Tevin Farmer knows that. That's why he's trying to instigate everything. Gervonta Davis needs to just cut him out right now and focus on Liam Walsh May 20th. And as far as Adrian Broner is concerned, why is he talking at all? This is a man who could not make 140 when he was here at this time last year. He couldn't make 140 and didn't try to make 140 against Ashley Theophane. He needs to really take a seat and just shut his mouth. Because he doesn't enter into this at all. He has no bearing in this. Because he's not going down to 135 and he darn sure won't make 140 either. So he needs to go sit somewhere. But Gervonta Davis and Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis and those guys need to just take Gervonta, the young man that he is, and make him rise above this fray. Put Tevin Farmer in the rearview mirror for now, because Farmer's got a bout too coming up. I know he's got a bout coming up. But let's see Davis get past Liam Walsh, and then he can talk all the smack he can talk about Tevin Farmer and build a bout between those two, hopefully here in Baltimore, in the Baltimore area. But for now, Tevin Farmer means nothing. Tevin Farmer means absolutely nothing to Gervonta Davis. The only person that matters right now for Gervonta Davis is Liam Walsh. And he's got to go to Liam Walsh to beat him. And that's what you should care about. So that's my brief take on that foolishness that went on last weekend. So we get ready for Friday night, April 14th. Hope you'll be there. Please be there for this one. No question about it. Please be there for this one. We get on the way, as I said, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, unless that's changed. And if it changes, follow my blog, boxingalongthebeltway.blogspot.com, and we will give you the correct time for that. I believe there's still some seats left for it, unlike last Saturday where everything was sold out a month in advance. I believe there's still seats for it, so I hope you can still come and join us coming up Friday night. We'll be podcasting, we'll be blogging on Boxing Along the Beltway throughout the night, and we should have a great night in store. And hopefully a successful night for the Beltway boxing crew there. Don't forget Boxing on the Beltway. Beltway News and Notes. Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. The fast, safe, and plant-based ointment. Go to www.freepainoffer.com. Buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Hope to see you Friday night at the MGM National Harbor Casino, and hope you will follow our reports throughout the week if you cannot be there. Don't forget the telecast, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, p.m. Thanks for joining, and always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the Boxing Along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.